How you all feeling today, Spurs fans? What an absolute mess we're in. Again, here are your daily Tottenham news headlines. Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name's Craig and here are your daily Tottenham news headlines where I'll be going through all the latest news, rumours and reports. If you're watching on YouTube and are not already as yet subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so, like, share and comment below. And if you're listening on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. Let's get into it. Give Me Sport report that according to Fabrizio Romano, Tottenham are exploring a late summer move for Aston Villa star Morgan Rogers following Eberechi's Eze's decision to move to Arsenal. Spurs have since shifted their focus onto other potential targets, including Rogers, whom Villa are not looking to sell with just over a week left in the transfer window. Romano claims a deal to sign the £100 million rated England international is almost impossible, despite Tottenham recently making phone calls to assess Rogers' situation. Romano, speaking on his YouTube channel, revealed that Tottenham have identified Rogers as a potential alternative to Eze, although a deal to bring the 23-year-old to North London before the deadline remains very difficult. Football.London reporter Alistair Gold says Tottenham have suffered another public embarrassment following Arsenal's hijack of their pursuit of Eberechi Eze. The Crystal Palace star is now close to joining the Gunners for £68 million in a dramatic turn of events, as Spurs have been set as front runners for his signature several weeks before Eze snubbed their interest in favour of a move to the Emirates. Gold claims that Tottenham's deal to bring the England international to Thomas Frank's squad was delayed because Palace wanted Eze available for their Conference League clash with Fredrikstad on Thursday. The Eagles never finalised the deal with Spurs for Eze's long-anticipated arrival, allowing Arsenal to swoop in with a late hijack, with verbal agreements now sealed on both club and players' sides. Gold, writing on X, revealed that Eze was ready to join Tottenham before Arsenal's late hijack, with the 27-year-old ultimately choosing the Gunners due to his connection to the North London side. Eze was a boyhood Arsenal fan and part of the club's academy until he was 13. He'd previously admitted to crime for a week when he was released by the Gunners in 2011. TBR Football can exclusively reveal that Tottenham Hotspur have inquired about signing Bilal Khannouss after missing out on Eberechi Eze. Tottenham have already started working on other options and Khannouss is one of the names on their wish list. TBR Football state that Eze is clearly the better player of the two, there's no debate there. However, Khannouss is still only 21 years old and has the potential to become an absolute star in the Premier League in the coming years. We're sure Spurs fans would still prefer Eze or another big name, but Khannouss could prove to be a very shrewd signing if they can get him. And reports in Brazil state that Tottenham Hotspur have increased their bid for Savinho to around £69 million after Eze's decision to sign for Arsenal. Savinho's agents are still in the UK and will manage talks between the clubs. And there have been several other reports from different sources that Spurs are still interested in Tyler Dibling and even Javi Simmons, but nothing as yet concrete. Right, so here's my thoughts on all those stories today. Firstly, Morgan Rogers. I think Morgan Rogers is a brilliant player, but I just can't see this deal getting done. Villa obviously want to keep hold of the player. Very expensive deal. This is going to be a huge price on this player's head, and we're going to come against this now for the rest of the transfer window for the next 11 days or whatever it is. You know, any selling club is going to want to get players in for themselves, and that's going to be our stumbling block because we haven't acted quick enough. So Morgan Rogers, I just can't see this coming off, no matter how much we offer. I think Villa are going to want to hold on to the player. Great player if we can get him, but can't see it happening. Eze, I'll come on to Eze in a minute. I'm not sure I've got the energy. Khannouss, another good player, but a player obviously with Leicester. A young talent, definitely a good player, but again, some would argue one for the future. Not ready now, not in Eze's class, and this is a situation we're going to find ourselves in, certainly myself. I'm going to compare everybody to Eberechi Eze because he was so close, and you know, Khannouss is not in Eze's quality. Is he good enough for Spurs? Is he what we need? I'll let you decide. Get down in the comments and let me know. And the Savinho links, you know, if we go in with an even higher offer, it's almost smacks of desperation. Don't get me wrong, I'd love the player to come, but we're going to be desperate now in this transfer window. We're going to be so desperate to sign players, and the board and Levy, my word, they are really up against it, but they've backed themselves into a corner, you know. And the other links, nothing concrete. You know, even rumours about us still going in for Rodrigo on loan. I just can't see that happening personally. Yeah, what an utter mess. Okay, so this is a debacle. Make no mistake, this was a catastrophe of monumental proportions for Spurs. One born out of fate, but not of glaring negligence, self-inflicted through dithering and half measures. Tottenham Hotspur stood on the brink of sealing a deal to bring Eze to our club, a deal that would have electrified our midfield, probably pleased most supporters and foiled our North London rivals Arsenal, and he was in the net and we dropped it. Spurs had a personal agreement in place, as far as we're led to believe, with Eze, and even a verbal agreement on a fee with Palace. What did we do? We let it fester, we let Crystal Palace delay and drag on negotiations, and we dilly-dallied. Maddison got injured on the 3rd of August, and we've been negotiating with Palace for just over a week, working around the clock, apparently. Arsenal took 5 hours and the deal was done. Yes, I get it. Arsenal probably had all the info they needed due to previous discussions with Palace and Eze earlier in the window. But at that critical moment, Arsenal was sharp, decisive, slipped in, paid roughly what we were going to be offering, 60 million plus add-ons, more palatable add-ons probably, and it's a hijack of epic proportions from right under our noses. Eze, yes, he was a boyhood Arsenal fan and once played in their academy, as we know, turned his back on Spurs at the very last moment. The Gunners didn't just pay, they pitched, they presented, and most importantly they acted quickly. Spurs fumbled again. Meanwhile, our boardroom did what? We stalled, we over-negotiated and we wasted time. We all watched in horror as our club's ambitions were undermined by the boardroom complacency. It has to be said, the line between hero and zero often hinges on a phone call or a failure to make it in this case. Spurs blinked. They blinked while Arsenal got their foot in, and that's all they needed. You know, we should have got this done last week, but we were too slow. Again, Daniel Levy, Enoch, Johan Langer, Vinay Venkatesham, you had the resources, you had the player in the palm of your hand, you had the opportunity, but you chose caution over courage, delay over urgency. In so doing, you handed Arsenal not just a player, but a psychological win, the moral victory in this transfer war, and we snatched defeat from the jaws of victory again, and we're again a laughing stock. The boardroom must shoulder the blame for an unavoidable defeat. A club that builds teams on ambition and timing must not trip over its own indecision. Eze could have been the spark that Spurs needed this season. Instead, he'll wear red while we scramble for plan B, a bitter pill of embarrassment as we watch our rivals strengthen at our expense. Let's face it, it's total incompetence in my opinion. It's a betrayal and by inaction, and you know, every disgruntled fan, we will not forget this. We have 11 days left in the transfer window and we will now be scrapping around for last minute panic signings where selling clubs know we're desperate, and that bumps the price up. And how must Richarlison feel? Offered at the 11th hour as a desperate make weight to get the Eze deal done when they realised it was going south. This is a total dereliction of duty by those in charge, in my opinion, and the fans will not forget this. It's a window where it was imperative we strengthened, and we are at present just one injury away from being weaker, in my opinion, than we were at the end of last season. Shambolic. Absolutely shambolic. But get down in the comments, let me know how you're feeling as a Spurs fan today and your opinions on the Eze debacle. Really interested to hear your thoughts. And if you do have time, please do go back and watch the fan show myself and Chris did last night. It was tough. It really was tough, but there were some really good thoughts on that. But everybody, bar none, really blames the club for this absolute mess in the Eze situation. But get down in the comments, let me know how you're feeling. What players do you think we could possibly bring in? Come on, you Spurs.